The day we released the plague upon the humans was not born from a decision of haste or cruelty, but of calculated desperation. From my position aboard the command vessel, hovering in stealth high above their blue and green planet, I could see through the visual feed the bustling cities soon to be centers of chaos. My name is Eshlar, and I am a virologist of the Earth, tasked with crafting what my people saw as a last resort in a long, simmering conflict. "We are ready, Eshlar," announced my assistant, Tharn. His voice was steady, a contrast to the turbulence I felt churning within me. I nodded, my fingers hovering over the console that would unleash a microscopic storm upon Earth. "Initiate the release sequence. Medinam," I commanded, my voice betraying none of my internal conflict. As I watched the dispersal units descend discreetly into the Earth's atmosphere, I reflected on the myriad meetings, the debates, and the soul-searching that had brought us to this point. Our planet, Tyria, once vibrant and teeming with life, had been rendered nearly uninhabitable. The humans, with their expanding interstellar mining operations, had unwittingly introduced pathogens and invasive species that devastated our ecosystems. Diplomatic efforts to halt their expansion had failed repeatedly, lost in translation and human bureaucracy. The pathogen we introduced was designed not to kill, but to incapacitate, to slow down their operations and force them to the negotiating table. It targeted only adults, sparing the young in a twisted reflection of our own values that prioritize the protection of offspring above all. As the first reports of the pathogen's effects trickled in through our surveillance feeds, I watched with a heavy heart. Hospitals began to report unusual symptoms, severe flu-like conditions, marked by an inexplicable lethargy. News broadcasts across their global networks started raising alarms about what they were calling the lassitude plague. "We've done it. They will have to listen to us now," Tharn murmured, watching the human world react in real time. Yet I remained silent, my gaze fixed on the screen displaying scenes of human families caring for their afflicted, a stark reminder of the line we had crossed. Days turned into weeks and the plague spread as we had modeled. Major urban centers reported significant decreases in daily activity. Their mining fleets, operating in the belts around Tyria, began to show signs of reduced output as the workers fell ill or returned home to care for loved ones. It was during this time that an unexpected message arrived. The humans, it seemed, had traced the pathogen back to its extraterrestrial origins. A communication from Earth's Global Defense Secretary filled the main screen in our command center. "To the Earth leaders," the secretary began, his tone firm yet tinged with fatigue, "we are aware of the source of the lassitude plague. We urge you to make contact and discuss this matter before further actions escalate tensions to irreversible points." The communication marked a turning point. It was the opening we needed, yet it brought no joy. The council convened, and I was summoned to explain the situation and the pathogen's designed effects once more. "Are we ready to face them? To negotiate?" one of the council members asked, his voice echoing in the chamber. "We have little choice, Ho," I replied. "We have initiated this confrontation, and now we must lead it to a peaceful resolution, if possible." The decision was made to engage in talks. As the appointed representative, I, along with a delegation of our top diplomats and scientists, prepared to descend to Earth. The gravity of our mission weighed heavily on us all. The consequences of our actions were profound, and now we had to face them directly. The descent into Earth's atmosphere was tense. As our shuttle pierced the cloudy veil, I glimpsed their cities sprawling amidst vast tracts of green and bodies of water. A planet so lively, yet we had brought a shadow over it. Upon landing, we were greeted not with hostility, but with a guarded hospitality. The human diplomats, dressed in their formal attire, led us into the United Nations building, a place where Earth's nations had long come together to resolve their own conflicts. The meeting room was vast, lined with flags representing the Earth's nations. At the head of the room, the Global Defense Secretary awaited, surrounded by a team of their best scientists and diplomats. His gaze met mine as we took our seats across from one another. "Eshlar of Tyria," he addressed me, "the actions of your people have brought us here under dire circumstances. We are prepared to listen and hopefully to understand your grievances. Let us find a path forward that restores health to your world without further harm to ours." As the humans listened intently, I began to outline our plight, detailing the ecological disasters brought upon Tyria by human activities. The room filled with murmurs as images of our dying forests and polluted waters were displayed. This plague was never meant to be a weapon of war, but a means to draw your attention where words had failed, I explained, my voice steady. We seek to restore balance, to ensure the survival of both our species. The humans, for their part, listened. The discussions that followed were intense and fraught with the pain of the recent weeks, but also with a budding hope. We debated, negotiated, and slowly, inch by inch, we drew up terms for a ceasefire and a mutual aid agreement. The humans agreed to halt their mining operations and aid in the ecological restoration of Tyria, while we offered insights into our advanced biorestoration technologies. As the hours stretched into the night, a preliminary agreement was drafted, a testament to the possibility of peace born from the ashes of despair. As I signed the document, I felt the weight of my decisions, both the regrettable and the necessary. The path to healing was just beginning, both for Tyria and for the bonds between our worlds. As dawn approached, marking the end of a long negotiation, a fragile peace had been brokered. The human delegates, tired yet visibly relieved, shook hands with us, a gesture of goodwill I had come to recognize and appreciate. I couldn't help but feel a mix of relief and immense responsibility. This agreement was just the beginning. The real work, the true test of our intentions and their willingness to change, would come in the days ahead. Our return journey to Tyria was quiet. Each of us, Irith delegates, was lost in thoughts, pondering the enormity of what we had set into motion. As the first light of Tyria's suns filtered through the windows of our spacecraft, I felt a sense of homecoming tinged with apprehension. How would our actions be received by our people, those who had seen us initiate a plague to defend our planet? The answer came sooner than expected. Upon landing, we were met not just by the High Council, but by a gathering of citizens, their bioluminescent glows pulsating with colors of curiosity and concern. News of our mission had spread, and now the eyes of Tyria were upon us, watching to see what fruits our controversial strategy would yield. Eshlar, the High Counselor, greeted me, his tone neutral yet expectant. The reports from Earth are already arriving. It seems your mission has sparked a considerable shift. You must address the people, explain the choices made. Standing before my fellow Irith, I shared the full scope of our actions and the reasons behind them. I explained the dire state of our planet, the unheeded pleas and petitions, and the drastic measures we took in response. Most importantly, I detailed the agreement forged with humans, a chance not only for survival, but for regeneration and renewal. The crowd's response was mixed, their glows shifting as they absorbed the gravity of the situation. Some expressed anger and fear, worried about the repercussions of using biological agents as a negotiation tool. Others showed signs of hope, their colors brightening at the prospect of actual aid from humans, the possibility of restoring Tyria's ravaged ecosystems. In the weeks that followed, human scientists arrived, as per the agreement, to work alongside ours. They brought technology and techniques that were foreign to us, yet they showed a genuine eagerness to rectify the damage caused. Watching our two species collaborate in the laboratories and in the fields, I felt a cautious optimism beginning to bloom. Simultaneously, we faced internal challenges. Debates and discussions often heated the halls of the council, where some members argued that the cost of peace had been too high, that we had compromised our moral ground. Yet with each passing day, as signs of ecological recovery began to emerge, dissent waned and a collective focus on healing and cooperation took root. I spent much of my time between Tyria and Earth, overseeing the various projects and ensuring the terms of our agreement were honored. On Earth, I witnessed a parallel shift in perception. Humanity's view of us changed from fear to a recognition of our shared dependency, our intertwined fates. We were no longer just alien aggressors from their perspective, but partners in survival. As our planets healed, so did the trust between us. Joint missions became more frequent, ranging from scientific endeavors to cultural exchanges. Children of Tyria learned about Earth's vast oceans and diverse cultures, while human children study the twin sunsets and unique flora and fauna of our world. Years later, standing once again at the United Nations on Earth, now not as a desperate delegate, but as an honored guest, I reflected on the journey. The plaque commemorating the Earth-Tyria Accord caught the light, its inscription a testament to the enduring power of dialogue over conflict. To those who seek peace, let this accord be a beacon. Born from the shadows of hardship, it stands as proof that even the deepest wounds can heal, that from the ashes of conflict, new hope can arise, the Secretary General recited during the anniversary celebration. The applause that followed filled the grand hall, echoing like the promise of a better future. As I joined in, my thoughts drifted back to those tense days of the plague's release. Had we been right to force their hand? The question might never leave me, but the flourishing landscapes of Tyria, once again teeming with life, and the bustling cities of Earth, vibrant with newfound respect for their alien neighbors, offered a semblance of an answer. Peace had come at a steep price, but it had come. And as I looked out at the sea of faces, human and Irith alike, I realized that what we had achieved was not just survival, but a thriving unity. This was our shared legacy, a world healed, and two species forever linked not by the virus we created, but by the life we chose to cultivate together.